That's a pretty cool welcoming. A little background about me. I'm from South Africa, born and raised there. Spent my whole life there until I was 18. But it wasn't until I was about 14 years of age that I started swimming. So who of you is older than 14?
Wow.
Right, so just got better and better in sprints. My coach sort of confused. He was like, well, you're just going to be a sprinter. So that was kind of the way it went. And, yeah, where I grew up, the swimming pool, swimming was not very much different to this. You guys have 6 lanes, we had 8 lanes. Probably the same depth. Our blocks were way worse than yours. So it's like, first and foremost, it doesn't take an Olympic pool or an amazing swimming pool to build a champion. It takes a belief in yourself and what you're doing, and coaches that know what they're doing. That's how you build a champion. If you're lucky enough to have a world-class facility, that's great. A lot of places don't have that. I don't come from that. I made the most of the situation, and I turned out pretty okay. In terms of my start, when I was a kid, I watched the 1996 Olympic Games. There was a South African guy called Brendan Giedigan, and he had, his model for his start was very, very similar to mine. And I just saw him get off the blocks, and by the time he was 15 meters, he was ahead of everybody. I thought, well, if I want to be the top sprinter in the world, that's kind of what I had to do. And this wasn't just your average Joes. This was the Olympic final in '96, senior breakout to get this far ahead of everybody else. I need to base what I want to do on what he does. So we don't, at that point in time, we don't have the technology like you have now with all the GoPros and all the cell phones. I had a big video camera that was my dad's. We had a swimming pool in my backyard that had this elevated ledge. And what I'd do is I'd set up the video camera on the side, and I'd watch probably like 10 or 15 starts of Brendan, and then I'd go downstairs and I'd press record, and I'd just go start, in 20 or 30 starts. Just trying to work on the specifics that I was seeing, sort of getting a feeling ingrained in my head of exactly what it was like. And then I'd unplug the videotape, and I'd run upstairs, and I'd plug it in, and I'd watch everything over and over and over and over again. Slow motion it, see where it got the right feeling and the right idea, and then be like, okay, no, and then I'd run downstairs, and I'd plug it in, and I'd start recording again. Start working. I spent probably a year and a half every single summer where it was warm, just doing starts over and over and over again. And that's sort of what I was very pedantic, I was very methodical about what I was doing because I knew how valuable it was, I knew how important it was. I understood that the only way I was going to get better at something like this was by actually doing it. There's so many people in this world that are like, oh, I suck, I'm bad. So how many times have you done it? Twice! Okay, well, if you've only done it twice, you're not going to be very good. So, who here remembers coloring in for the very first time? Like, were you in the lines when you were coloring in for the first time? Exactly. So swimming and starts is no different than coloring in. It takes muscular coordination and skill. So the first time you use coloring in, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. All right. And then you're like, oh, wait, I need to actually be in the lines. And then you're like, trying to be in the lines and you're not. Oh my gosh, I'm not in the lines. And then the more you do it, the better you get, and then all of a sudden you start shading in and everything. You know what I'm talking about, exactly. So anybody that's colored in pretty much understands that. That's what swimming's like. That's what starts are like. That's what technique's like. So everybody, you hear somebody, I suck. I can't do this. It's too hard. Well, why is it hard? Well, because I don't know. Well, because how many times have you done it? 3 times. Okay, well, of course it's going to be hard. Coloring in was hard before you really knew what you were doing. Any skill that you take to develop is going to be hard initially. So I knew that. I understood that. And I was like, well, I'm going to find a way to make this as good as possible. It started off by just the way I wanted to be on the blocks. That's why I was with dry erase board. Because, or the whiteboard, whatever you guys call it. So what I see and what I've seen a lot of is, maybe this works, maybe this doesn't work. I don't know. So, block, we'll try to make it as close to what you guys have as possible. Alright, everybody get the idea? Block, block, okay. Yeah. I was never good at coloring in, so. Alright, so the main thing to me was being in an athletic position on the blocks. And what I mean by that is you see, if you want to jump high, you're not going to jump from this position here. You're also not going to jump from this position here. So it's pretty easy. So it's how can I be in the most athletic position on the block? And you see people getting on the block. And I'm not going to do this right away. But they'll be, take your mark, and then go. That's not athletic. It's not the best way, most efficient way to start. Now you also see some people, just kind of, just float around and not know where they want it to be, sort of really collapse. When I talk about being in an athletic position, I talk about I like to have my hips a little bit higher. So if I was to stand on the blocks here, there's one thing I took there as well. In a position here, and that is athletic. So the first thing when I work on starts with people, is working on an athletic position on the blocks. Yeah, like I said, it's easier to be on the blocks and explain it. So the first thing I teach is just an athletic position on the blocks. And the simplest form is if you were to stand in this position, just sort of be loose. That's athletic. Then on the take your marks, what a lot of people do is they put the thumbs on the block and they pull down like this. Alright? So if you look at a push-up, if you start in a push-up, you're starting in this position. If you were to start in a push-up in this position, it's a little bit harder. It's like a pull-up. If you were to pull up, start in this position, you don't really have somewhere to start from. So I like to see two things. Thumbs forward, like this. And another analogy I'll do this. So you guys do pull-ups. So if you were to try to pull up like this, it sort of breaks the dynamic tension in your arm. It sort of just breaks the lever. And I don't ever try and get too technical, but if we can find a way to be as strong in this position off the block and be able to launch yourselves up the block as quick as possible, that's where you make up tenths of a second, hundredths of a second. And that's the difference between being happy and being sad. Can I borrow your watch for a second? So, what's your best time in a 53? What are you benching? 2 breaths. What's your best time? 246. So if you went at 244, you'd be pretty happy. So 244 is the difference between that's happy and sad. So yeah, that's right. That's tears. That's tears. All right. For sprinters, it's even less. I mean, the difference is 100th of a second, 10th of a second. The difference between happy and sad is that's between being happy and sad. So if you can find a way to do more things right, you're going to be happier than you are. You're going to be sad. And I recognize that and realize that as a kid. So it's if we had more time. How about this? Everybody stand up. So what I'm going to do is so instead of just saying this is that, the next thing, and then giving you guys all this information to try at one time, I'm just going to spread out, and all we're going to do is go into an athletic starting position. Just start us off. Athletic starting position. So that's where you are in the starting position. Just hanging loose. All right. And if I tap you, you can stand up because it's good. Good.
No, he's the one in the pink cap.
Like that first leg was like an 800. I was like,
We're visiting also, so.
Yeah.
We're visiting here from ours, where he's still visiting. Okay, wait. Los Angeles. Okay, very cool. We're coming from
Oh, okay. Our coach is from Phoenix. One of his coaches is from Phoenix. Yeah, it's a girl, Tara. She swam for a small school. Yeah. This is so nice.
no, you can say yeah, but then we get an actual.